In my entire career, there's no technology growing this fast. Some services will evolve. 20 years ago, there's no prompt engineers. So where's that coming from?
And today we're in Singapore with another special guest who's Fauzi. Fauzi is the CTO of Dentsu Singapore in the CXM division.
You want to increase the sales, but you might reach out to the wrong customers where we cannot upsell or cross-sell certain things. But using GenAI, you can speed up those process and you actually can create a content tailored to certain customers where the conversion rate will be higher. My suggestion and direction to the team, let's disrupt ourselves first before it gets disrupted. How to do that is really to implement innovation in the team, open-minded, think critically on certain things, try to change the typical way of dealing with stuff. I think right now we have the right infrastructures. We need to have a better governance, better regulations for this. And of course, in the same time, you need to have the right talents to execute from the application layer.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the CTO show presented by Tech Vibe. I'm your host Philip, and today we're in Singapore with another special guest who's Fauzi. Fauzi is the CTO of Dentsu Singapore in the CXM division. So welcome to the show, Fauzi.
Thanks for having me.
So Fauzi, I was very surprised actually to know that Dentsu even had a CTO, because most people think that Dentsu is actually a marketing agency. So we'd love to learn a little bit more about maybe CXM and what you guys specifically do.
Sure. So I think CXM means customer experience management, right? So where we reach out to our clients on how to solve their customers' business problem, right? So especially when we're talking about how to say the touch point to the customers, you can name it many touch point: website, app, social media, and so on and so forth. So for us, it's really to understand the client needs problem and the business problem. Then we will provide them with the solutions. So the solution it can be varies from simple like website development, app development, or integration with CRM or CDP. So that is mainly the main businesses for us in the CXM. But of course, we also create the strategy from the customer point of view, right? How to go to market strategy, and of course, what will be the best strategy to reach out to a certain demography of the customers.
That's very cool. So I guess Dentsu is a more comprehensive solution. Not only is it the strategy, but you're also doing the implementation, and the digital implementation is almost what you guys do, right?
Indeed. So I think from the implementation point of view, definitely like when the client reach out to us about implementing certain technology or certain platform, for us not simply just implementing for them, but to understand what is the need, right? What is your business problem that we want to solve for you. So we will look from that angle first, then implement the more tailored implementation for them.
Got it. If I'm the client, like, what is the process that usually you would work with me on, and how we take it from the idea to the actual implementation?
Yeah, so I think usually it's really a more towards a discussion, more towards like chat first to understand from your point of view first what is the things that you need. But I think for us it's really like sometimes is this engagement to transactional when your request is very simple. I want Fauzi, I need this and I need that. Can you do for me? Sure. But that one is it's not really it's easy to implement, but kind of like might hit missing the wrong target, right? So I think the most important thing is to understand what is your need, brainstorm together in more discussion conversations, and later on we will have a workshops to understand better your business problem,
Right.
bring in more stakeholder into the conversations,
Yeah.
and later on we will have more in-depth discussions
I see.
from every single stakeholder until we create the plan for the implementation. And we of course have more discussion later on, like for example, because most of the time when you have brainstorming or workshops, actually you're talking about one problem and suddenly it becomes 20 problems.
Right.
So we need to, we will do the first problem first, and what will be the next step I mean, from the ROI point of view, is very, is justifiable.
And so for your team, is it very typical of like almost like a technology company where you'll have engineers, you have designers, UX researchers, basically the full stack of different employees?
Yes, indeed.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you manage a very sophisticated, basically, team.
Yes, I think from the last 20 years, I'm started with software engineering, basically all coding, technical implementation, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But I think from the last maybe 11 years, is starting to take the leadership of the technology, and that is where I found out that when we talk about how to say bring providing solution
Yeah.
to the customers, is not just sending the technology product
Right.
or technology solution, but it's really to understand what their needs. Sometimes it's very, very funny. Like for example, they need a website.
Yeah.
Sure, we can develop for you, right? But have you done the proper customer, what do that, the interview,
Yeah. User research,
user
user
research, and so on and
interviews.
so
Yeah.
forth? Now, if they don't, then we offer
Ah.
the solution to them.
Interesting.
Right? So it's really end to end.
I see. How is it like working as like almost like a consulting firm or some kind of like where you're helping clients as opposed to maybe if you're a CTO of your own company? Like how's that, relationship or different?
Yeah, so I always put myself in the very tight spot because I take the ownership. Right. So for example, if I'm, how to say, helping you as a CTO, I'm part of your company CTO. So I will think very, how to say, critically, right? And sometimes you need to be, how to say, very transparent with the
Yeah.
client. Sometimes it's quite misaligned with their direction,
Got
but you
it.
need to be transparent. So I think it is my job to provide the best solution for the clients.
That's great. That's great. And usually after you guys deliver the solutions, is there some kind of like team that also helps manage and maintain and maybe I want to update my website? Like,
Yeah, 100%.
I see.
Yeah. So I think that's what you call it, the maintenance period.
Okay.
So when you have a separate engagement with the clients.
Got it. Wow, very complicated. That's awesome though. And then tell me about the clients that you guys work with. So obviously you're CTO of the Singapore kind of regional office, I would say. Like, are most of the clients based in this region of ASEAN and?
Yeah, so I think the main clients actually from this region,
Okay.
whether it's Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, is pretty broad. But we also help the other market as well, like US and Japan. So
Wow.
it's not really, how to say, limited to the certain market or certain country or region. But for me, it's like to become the CTO in Singapore.
Yeah.
By default, you become the CTO in the region.
Wow.
Right. So you will get pulled for different engagement in the region.
I see. Well, traditionally, I think if you're building a startup, it's very hard maybe to go from one country to another country because of maybe cultural nuances or differences.
100%.
Or even like the UI UX is quite different, right?
Yes.
So how have you been able to navigate that kind of flexibility, right? Where you have to adopt solutions across.
Yes,
the entire
correct. So I
region?
think this is the most important discussion in the initial stage. What is your roadmap, right? Are you want to tackle this for certain region for the next 4 to 5 years, or you want to even pivot, right, to some other businesses?
Yeah.
So we need to understand from the initial engagement,
I see.
and of course question them with which markets they want to go with. And well, we had a lot of like discussion with people in, like, for example, in Middle East, in this region as well. They have certain product where the most challenging in the to market of product is actually the regulations,
Oh.
regulation,
I see.
data governance, and the license.
I see.
So I think every single market or country will have different, challenges.
I see. Okay. And I'm just curious, for your clients, are they across all different verticals, different industries, and also different sizes as well, right?
Yes, indeed. So different, like you mentioned, is different vertical sizes, different scale as well, right? So I think, how to say, for me, it's not really to look at their sizes, but I think the most important thing is actually to understand their main problem. So from that point, because in the end, when you invest on certain solution or to solve certain problem, they will need to set the ROI, right? Return of investment.
I see.
So it doesn't matter how big your company or how small your company, like if you're talking about the size of the people or the size of the budget that you had,
Yeah.
I think on every single sizes you will get the solution for any business problem.
Got
So
it.
I think for me is I'm open, right?
Got it.
Are you startup? Let's talk.
I
You
see.
a multinational company? Let's have a chat.
Interesting.
So it's really like how we discuss right now. We actually trying to understand each other on certain like capabilities and what kind of like a problem that you are facing before.
I see.
So it's conversation. So I think these are the things that what are missing. People too transactional. They missing the human aspect of interaction on this. Yeah.
That's great. And I guess most of these teams, do they already have existing engineering teams or CTOs, or like are you guys like the clients that you do work with?
Yes.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, they actually have the huge team, right? So I think the reasons for them to reach out to us is really to how they can improve certain how to say operation
I see. Okay.
from the technology point of view, from the sales, from the marketing point of view. So we help them. So I think in the end we are become the like extended team for their marketing, for the technical technology and also operation. So we not position ourselves to compete with anyone. It's really to help them, and once they happy with everything, sure we can stop engaging with us. Not a problem.
Got it. To augment their abilities and maybe share some best practices. basically.
Exactly.
Okay. Right now, obviously, the key word is AI, right? AI is everywhere. You know, everyone's asking about AI strategy. Everyone's asking about AI tools.
Yeah.
How has that been for you guys? Is there a lot of demand, or how have you guys been able to adopt in this new age?
Yes. So there is huge gap, right? Whether they want, right? And the thing that when they're actually scared with the solution. So I think for me, from the last 2 years, is really to simplify it for the business people or the non-technology people, non-tech people. Explain to them what this is about and how it can help the business and operations. So from the last 2 years, like Gen AI is crazy, man.
Yeah.
The development, the how to say. So I mean, in my entire career, there's no technology growing this fast,
Right.
and AI is actually is really life changing. It's
Yeah.
not only game changing; it's life changing
Right.
technology. So I think for us, it's really like thinking. Let's don't talk about AI. Let's talk about your problem, and we will use AI to help that, or you use another technology to help that.
I see.
Don't to focus with the technology, but focus with your problem first.
I see. When you say people are scared, like why are people scared, and what are they scared of?
I think it's quite typical, right? With every single technology, every single how to say, the technology that can disrupt people works. Like for example, I mean, years ago, there's no like taxi, it's just typical taxi. You need to call the numbers, and now you have a lot of options.
Yeah.
Right. So is this disrupting? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is disrupting, but a lot of people actually can get a new job from these disruptions. It's the same thing with AI, right? If you want to become traditional with AI, it's not really fit to be together.
Yeah.
You have no choice to really evolve your business, find the how to say, find the efficiency, find the opportunity using AI.
So, at least in the US where I come from, you know, across startups, across big businesses, everyone is just pushing to adopt these solutions, right? But it seems like here, maybe in Southeast Asia, people are a little bit hesitant. So you have to really reframe it back to, hey, what is your core business problem, right? And then then we can slowly introduce AI to actually solve that. Is that kind of a accurate representation?
Actually, no.
Oh,
Just is the things like how I mean maybe the adoptions and how open in the US market
yeah.
is always a step ahead, but doesn't mean that those gap will be stays or remain there for a couple of years. No, it's just like when I mentioned about the last 2 years of this AI evolution,
Yeah.
people adoption is just like it's madness.
Oh.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Even kids also using Gen AI.
For sure.
So I think we need to treat this AI as a new touch point. Like, because when I'm talking about touch point, like definitely in your pocket you have your mobile phone.
Yeah.
And the first thing, maybe your first step on the first screen of your mobile will be ChatGPT, right? It's become common now. Previously, there's no such thing,
Yeah.
right? I think it's really how to say using AI as part of your life.
I think even in Southeast Asia, I think this region is known for very like high social media use. So I wouldn't be surprised actually if a lot of consumers, are very forward on that train. I guess for you and maybe Dentsu and the customers that you guys work with, are they also as adoptive, or have they already started deploying AI solutions in their businesses?
Yes, 100%.
Uh-huh.
So I think for us is Gen AI is not just to generate the content, but it also to provide insights, right? Especially it's so important in this time when you want to increase the sales, but you might hit or reach out to the wrong customers,
Yeah.
where we cannot upsell or cross sell certain things. But using Gen AI, you can speed up those process, and you actually can create a content that how to say tailored to certain customers, where the conversion rate to be a new buyer or to buy certain or other services
Yeah.
will be higher.
Okay, so providing market insights. I guess apart from this, are there any other like specific verticals or use cases that you've seen that are very popular, or that customers are really demanding to implement for AI?
Yes, maybe it's not more to the verticals, but it's in the areas of customer support.
I see. Customer service, customer
Yeah,
support.
customer support, customer service is everywhere. It's everywhere. And I think when you discuss with a lot of clients with large user base, they will have a problem to handle all the inquiries, to handle all the requests.
Yes.
So that is when the Gen AI can help to speed up.
I
But
see.
we still need real people to deal with the customers.
So originally they were using maybe even like BPOs, or like they had big call centers or those
Yes,
kind of things.
correct.
And now they're
Using-
using AI to actually shift over. Oh, very exciting. Yeah. So when I talk to some technology leaders, especially in this part of the world, right, some of them are actually very hesitant to adopt AI just because, right now, if you actually go and hire someone, it's actually very affordable, especially in Southeast Asia.
100%.
And so when they look at AI with all its risks and the implementation costs, maybe they're a little bit hesitant. So, do you think that is changing?
A lot. From the last 2 years, it changed a lot.
I see.
As like you mentioned, now the AI solution is so cheap, right? Even like for example, just a couple of dollars for you
Yeah.
to implement. But I think that's the main thing. People looking at the technology too, how to say, I think their relationship with technology is way too, how to say, unique. When you're talking about, if you use, like for example, your mobile phone,
Yeah.
right, they should treat the AI as like you're owning a mobile phone.
Oh.
You need to be, how to say, it's a normal thing. It's a norm right now to use AI. So I think the only how to say issues right now is people how to say afraid of the unknown. So because for some people or some group of people, AI is still unknown to them,
Yeah.
right? So it's really to introduce to them, this is AI, this is what they can do to help you. But this is just an example. It's not something that can be applied in your companies. But we need to understand first,
Yeah.
what is your business problem, right?
see.
So then we will take few step back and what kind of like solution. Sometimes actually you don't need even AI to help to solve your business. Sometimes, like you mentioned, we need manpower. You need manpower to help on that. But I think we need to change the how to say the mindset of AI will take over people's
The
jobs.
jobs.
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah, I almost feel like there's like a innovator's dilemma whereby maybe right now the cost is very high and people are a little bit scared of it, but it does feel like AI is growing so fast, right? It's growing exponentially, whereby maybe if you do miss this moment, a lot of your competitors who do adopt AI, or even a lot of global companies, multinationals who adopt AI, are able to come into your market and eat up shares of your revenue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. So I think there are a couple of things they need to really consider with. Basically, like for example, I mentioned to you earlier about the license, regulations, governance. Because in the end, that when you have a product or you have a solution or services for you to be, how to say, to reach certain markets,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't matter whether it's AI powered or non-AI powered, or
Yeah.
just even like people who need to be on site, right? In the end, you need to really comply with all of this, right? So it's really to understand, right, what are the requirement, and just comply with it. The other things that you mentioned about the cost, like expensive, now it's cheap. I think it's really depend. It can be expensive if you try to solve, for example, couple of hundred thousands problem in comparison with $1 million of problem,
Yeah.
right? So I think you need to see the return of investment of every single things and not really overcomplicate things. I think the one of the things is, I think you mentioned about stagnant, right? Because of people not really progressing because of worried or fear of about some things.
Yeah.
So actually, we need to actually help them to understand where this fear is coming out from, and how you want to really how to say solve those problems using technology or using AI.
Yeah, it's a tough problem, and I think another kind of maybe hesitation that some people may have is, there's been cases where sometimes AI models will hallucinate, right?
Yes.
Especially in maybe a customer service use case, they might tell your customer that, oh yes, I'll give you money back, when in reality that's not really how your policy works. So in those cases, how do you convince clients, or how do you reassure clients that your deployment will be safe and your models just won't explode?
100%. So I think this is the what I always say: use AI to augment your people, not to replace. Once you replace, of course, you don't have the like visibility on what is happening, what kind of information. Of course, you can have a monitoring software or solution to prevent certain words, but it's not really 100%, right?
I see.
It's not really bulletproof.
I see.
So what I always suggest is you still keep the people who, for example, supporting or servicing the customers,
Yeah.
but you use this AI to help them to respond, to increase their, how to say,
Agency, right?
yes, correct. So because in the end is your client, whether your client is happy or not. If your client is happy with your product, they will keep coming back. But once your customer service is not really giving the right answer, the right solution, they will just ask like, is this what I paid for? Right? So we need to see from that angle first.
I see. So first, human in the loop before the agent. Do you think though that we'll reach a point whereby it will be completely replaced?
In the end, yes, it will. It will. But replacing, not replacing certain roles.
Yeah.
Right. So if our narratives talking about replacing people, people will get scared. But if we don't thinking or talking from the replacing certain roles, meaning we still have chance to reskill and retools our people, our teams, right? So, and always it's really, how to say, challenging when you get disrupt. My how to say, my suggestion and direction to the team: let's disrupt ourselves first before it get disrupted. So how to do that is really to implement innovation in the team. Open-minded, think critically on certain things. Try to change the typical way or the common way of dealing with stuff.
I see.
This episode is brought to you by Tech5, your one-stop IT recruitment solution provider. We connect global companies with top tech talent across Southeast Asia. Whether you're looking for permanent hires, short-term contractors, or employer of record, EOR services, we've got you covered, especially in the IT and digital sectors. Thanks for tuning in. And now, enjoy the episode.
What do you think a future organization will look like, given that now there's so many tools that give you, superpowers, right?
Yes.
Do you think it will still be a CEO managing all these people? Do you think it'll be one CEO managing AI agents and no other employees? Or yeah, what does that actually look like?
Yeah, so I think you still need people because how to say, like, human interaction is still needed in every single economic or businesses, right? But again, AI and everything is mainly to help, right? To really augment, to solve certain problem, right? So
I guess on that sense, like, what are the roles that would still be relevant and maybe the skills that, would be even more important in the future? Yeah.
mainly in the business and strategy, that will be the how to say, more people required on that areas, because we have so many tools and we have limited people who understand with the new solution, because the evolution of this AI just way too fast, right? Maybe AI just for now, but later on there will be some other technology as well that a lot of strategic people and business people need to understand this, and this requirement become more in the futures.
What do you think about your job?
My job, I already use AI.
Or do you think, there will be an AI CTO in the future that will replace all the CTOs?
There will be AI augmented CTO, 100%.
I see.
Right. So I think that will become common.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it's because technology is technology, tools is tools, human is human, right? But if you want to really build the economy, you need all of those. You cannot just ignore, like, for example, everything in the economy is done by the AI.
Yeah.
I think it's just way too far to that point, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think in the end, economy is run, built by people, right? And we still need people.
Got it. For your team already, now there's a lot of AI tools like Cursor, for example, for programming. Like, are there any effective AI tools that you guys use that have really boosted the productivity of your team?
Yes, I think AI tools is not new, right? There is a Copilot from GitHub long time ago, and there's some other different kind of models for different kind of purposes.
Yeah.
We already using all of those, right? And we need to look at the impact. Is it positive impact or negative impact? It's positive impact.
Yeah.
Why not? So we implement those. Also, it's really to speed up, increase the quality of the work, speed up the work as well. And basically, with AI, we can scale even faster. And of course, we lower the cost.
The cost. Yeah. I think, now actually there's a lot of these code generation tools that allow you to even just generate the UI, UX, or the front end, right? So I'm also curious, like, have you seen the way that maybe you guys engage with clients? Has that changed? Because maybe now the cost of actually just putting together a wireframe that's actually functional, that clients can actually interact with it, is just so easy, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, has any of that kind of changed how you guys work with clients as well?
Yes, but it's not really directly. Because in the end, like, for example, I believe you understand about UI, UX design. But for example, when I design or the AI design for you, you still need to get some explanation. What is it about, why, and everything, right? So it's in the end, how to say, the AI can generate the design. People also can generate the design as well. But the things that what we need to tell the client, that there are certain things actually AI will help us speed up this process, and certain things actually we need even people to validate the UX, the UI, because it's about the interaction. Like, for example, if you have a design, you push to whatever Gen AI solution, they will explain to you that this button is too small, so on and so forth. But it's not really, how to say, that's not how people interact with the interface.
I see.
Sometimes if it's super clutter and they know where to go, that's the good UX, right? But if you have an app, even if the app is so clean, people still have no clue where to tap on to understand, like, to come to the earlier question for you, like, go to market. Different market will have different UI understanding. I mean, is still yet to how to say. I mean, AI still yet to reach that point. Can understand the market needs because it's keep evolving every single day.
I see. Hypothetical question. So maybe think about your role, or maybe even Dentsu, maybe 20 or 30 years in the future. And maybe at that point, a lot of AI tools will be really, really good, and there'll be even more tools and stuff. What do you think is the service or even the value add that you guys would provide? And how would you even work with clients in that kind of future?
Good question. Good question. So I think it's in the end, like I mentioned earlier, we still need people to run the business or economy, right? So, like for example, there will be a point of certain services will be taken over by the AI, right? But if you ask me specifically in my industry, I think you need to look on what kind of like solution or services that we provide to our clients. Certain things, yes, we can use AI to help. Certain things actually you can't, right? So I think definitely there will be some services will evolve as how you see all the new roles in the market, right? Like a couple years ago, I mean maybe 1 year ago, 2 years ago, there is prompt engineer. 20 years ago, there's no prompt engineers.
Of course.
So where's that coming from? From this new solution. So definitely in the next 20 or 30 years, there will be different kind of roles and titles adapting to the market demand.
If you were to give advice maybe to a university student or someone who's relatively young, right? And they're deciding, should I be a lawyer? Should I be an accountant? Should I be an engineer like yourself? Should I be a prompt engineer? Like, what would you tell them?
I think passion is important.
Passion.
So right now, like work is not just to get the salary. Right? It's really to to spend the most, I mean the quality time, right, with anything around you, whether with your work, with the people, families, and everything.
Yeah.
So passion is so important. Where you need to really understand from the early stage, like it's not only like from when in the university, even before that. So I have kids, and I never tell them you need to go to engineering, doctor, or something. I leave it to you.
Wow.
What is the best for you? For example, if you fail, you're still happy. If you had success, you are more happy. If you have that kind of passion or certain things, just do it. Because that's what we're missing in the next 20 years.
Do you feel like teaching them how to use certain AI tools is very important to the education?
Yes.
Okay. And how do you plan on doing that?
It's really to engage with them, explain to them, right? Like for example, things change right now. How people interact. A lot of people actually spend more with ChatGPT, but previously a lot of people spend with social media.
Yes.
But things change now.
Yeah.
Right? People like to learn certain things, new things.
Yeah.
Something that they cannot access like 10 or 20 years ago.
I see.
Right. So I think right now it's really to introduce to them. There is pros and cons, explaining to them not everything is correct, not everything is wrong. So you need to use how to say it? You need to think first. You need to use your brain, not just take as it is, right? Understand, like chatbot suggesting me to do this and that. Okay, what kind of prompt that you are using? Or this one way too broad. Try to be specific.
I see.
Right? And is this correct? Try again. You need to be very critical in the question. Just like, for example, if I'm going to clinic, you are the doctor, and I said, I'm not feeling well.
Yeah.
Then okay, exercise more, eat healthy food.
Right.
But if I never tell you, like, okay, I'm having stomach pain because of I eating this and that yesterday, and actually now a bit like lightheaded, what will be the solution? You see, the same intention but two different question. It's the same thing. It's the same prompt, but it's the same intention but two different prompts.
I see. So it's almost like making your kids utilize these tools, right? So they learn how to actually prompt them, or they learn how to communicate and use them effectively.
Yes, I think that is the things with a lot of people in different generation as well.
Yeah.
Not too sure how to interact, right? They not too sure how to interact with people. Now people not sure how to interact with ChatGPT, for example.
Oh, I see.
So it's really to tell them this how you actually speak with people. This how you actually speak with ChatGPT. So I think it's just part of the current way of living, right? So basically we just need to introduce all of this new solution, new technology to the young people, to the new generation.
Some people do say that in the future, maybe you will have an agent and then someone else will have the agents and agents will talk to each other. So I'm not sure if that will actually happen.
Multi-agent, I
Yeah,
think.
multi-agent.
Yeah. So multi-agent, agentic AI.
Yeah.
I think like it's actually it's not a new thing, but it evolves very fast,
Yeah,
especially from the last 1 year,
for sure.
right? So I think yeah, I mean we can even create that kind of like a multi-agent for your life, but I mean in the end you need to understand what kind of like use case for that agentic AI or multi-agent for you, right? It's not like I want to eat certain meals
Yeah.
or certain cuisine.
Yeah.
I want to get how to say new friends. Not such thing, right? So
Yeah.
it will be specific to certain things that it will help you, right? It's not really to tell you what need to be done. Yeah.
Got it.
So that's the purpose of agent.
Got it. I want to go back to something earlier that you said, which is basically that it's important to focus on the speed of adoption of AI, right? And if we zoom out on a more global context, right now it almost seems like it's a two-party competition between US and China in this AI race, right? In terms of semiconductors, in terms of GPUs, in terms of even the application layer, new models, foundation models, and even sometimes even the application layer. And you have a very interesting vantage point because you work across a lot of Southeast Asia countries, right? Even countries like Indonesia, where you're from. And I'm just curious, for these countries, how do they participate in this AI revolution?
Yeah. So I think participating and looking at two different how to say countries race on this thing, I think it's really not to limit them to which or from where that solution coming from.
Yeah.
It's back again how you want to participate, understand what you need first from the AI. Get any technology currently available. It doesn't matter from US or from China, right? So I think but another things, if you look at a certain market, how they can grow this thing, definitely like if you get a solution from outside the country, will cost more.
Yeah.
With whatever tax reasons, right? So but if you have the strong infrastructures, the strong talent in that market, actually it can speed up even how to say even faster in terms of the implementation or adoption of certain solutions. So it's really to bring those solutions. For example, if the solution coming from US, bring them to Indonesia, bring them to Singapore or to any other market. It's the same thing with from China. If you see the potential solution from China, then bring them in.
I see. So do you think this happens more on the application layer instead of the, like maybe...
Infrastructures.
Yeah, okay. I see.
Yeah, like so infrastructure is the one of the important things. But I think from the last 20 years, infrastructures in this region is like evolving and progressing very fast. So it's very comparable with some other how to say region as well, right? So I think the right now we have the right infrastructures. We need to have a better governance, better regulations for this, and of course, in the same time, you need to have the right talents to execute from the application layer. So I think those are the requirement, not only from the how to say, not only from the adoption, but also how we can reskill staff or people to really can execute or maintain the infrastructure and execute or implement the applications.
What do you think is the biggest obstacle or barrier that's stopping from this adoption right now?
Honestly, it's the mindset,
Attitudes.
attitudes, it's point of view of this. Is not, I mean, it's easy but hard in the same time for certain people. So I think like you mentioned earlier, the technology is so cheap now.
Yeah.
So there's no problem from the commercial point of view. But why adoption is so slow, right? So what's stopping them? What makes them stagnant? So I think that is the real problem right now. It's
What,
really
what do you think
education.
it is? Like,
Yeah.
is it education?
Education,
Or? Oh,
100%.
education.
100% is education. 100% is not to listen too much with all the social media things,
I see.
right? It's really try. If you have no clue, try now, and you still not really understand and learn. So basically, learning by doing is the most important thing. So I mean, if you're talking from the business point of view, it's really for them to start early, innovate early, in any budget or even zero budget. But in the end, it's actually coming back again to the return of investment, right? That's the one criteria that every single business needed.
On a societal basis, do you think the solution is maybe government policy, or is it just more individuals trying to inspire other people like yourself, trying to change the mindset, change the attitude?
Yeah, actually, like government is people as well,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
So if I'm going to super simplify, it's the people, right? Doesn't matter where they are, whether in the government, in the tech industry, in the service industry, or even F&B, right? They need to really educate themselves about what is this, what is the risk and opportunity, because we cannot be naive that there is always a risk on every single solution,
Yeah.
right? So we need to think carefully, but not to stop you, not to make you stagnant on the same spot, but is really to you to understand and keep moving.
If I'm a young person, maybe in Indonesia, I don't really know too much about AI. I just want to get started. I want to learn. I'm very inspired by what you said. How would you recommend that I get started?
So I think it depends how young, because if you are talking about the high school or poly or uni, right?
Yeah.
What is their main problem? To complete the assignment.
Yes.
So what is the next problem?
Yeah.
To think about what is my what I need to learn for my career.
Yeah.
Right. So I think different kind of age range will have a different kind of use cases.
Yeah.
Right. So I think right now, like for example, I always tell my kids like, oh, like daddy, I have this problem. Okay, have you asked ChatGPT? I'm not stopping you to ask me.
Yeah.
But later on, once you have something from ChatGPT, discuss with me. So from 2-hour process become 15 minutes because of the help of ChatGPT, right? And in the end, you need still people to validate, verify
Yeah.
all the things that you have done with or without ChatGPT.
I see. And you are helping your kids verify things.
Exactly.
That's very interesting. So you are basically the human in the loop, right? You know, to
Correct.
To
So
verify.
yes, that's AI augmented people,
Yeah.
right? So
Interesting. Very fascinating. The last section we like to do is a more like quick fire, rapid fire questions. So just say whatever comes to your mind, you know, and we'll go from there. Yeah. So the first question is, what's your favorite tech tool that you've been using recently?
recently, definitely ChatGPT, right? And I think it depends as well because for things daily basis, I use ChatGPT. And what other because ChatGPT is not, I mean, a lot of people not consider the tech tools, but if you want to be specific to like technology for the coding, like for example GitHub. So I use GitHub, I use Visual Studio Code, and so on and so forth. So those are technology that I like. Yeah, there is I think ChatGPT is always used for both my personal life and also my
And
professional.
do you specifically use like OpenAI's models, or have you also tried some of the other ones,
Oh,
like
yeah.
Anthropics, or even the Chinese models,
Yes,
like
yes,
DeepSeek?
yes. I tried everything. I tried everything. I mean, depending on your needs and depending on your prompts. If you really used to certain models, keep with it. Don't keep changing, because later on you need to change your way of prompting, right? Because it depends on how the models get trained. Maybe your prompt for ChatGPT doesn't
Yeah.
work for certain other model, Llama or Anthropic.
Yeah.
So you need to, how to say, experiment with it.
I
but
see. I see.
but experimenting and using it is actually two different things. If you comfortable with one model, just keep using that model.
Okay. Yeah. It's almost like speaking different languages, right?
Yeah.
Developing that fluency.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
What is the best piece of advice that you think you've ever received? Yeah.
I think I touch base that how to say, two things that I mentioned earlier is really innovations and stagnation, right? Everyone like innovation.
Yeah.
People scared of stagnation,
Of course,
right?
yeah.
So I think my advice is, if you have an interest of certain things,
Yeah.
just do it.
Just
Don't
do
think
it.
too much.
Yeah.
Don't overthink. Don't say no, I can't. No, that kind of like how to say, a word is something that you need to prevent to come out from your mouth. You need to say that, yeah, I can do it, but I have no clue. I need to figure it out. So basically, the mindset need to change, and yeah, be innovative, critical thinking, and if you feel like you are stagnant, then just use the 3-second rule. You want to do this, just do it in the next
Just
3
do it.
seconds. Just do it.
Wow.
Yeah,
So it goes back to the attitude and the mindset
exactly.
as well.
100%.
If you're not doing, your current role, what do you think you'd be doing?
Oh, that's a good question. Because I'm growing in Indonesia, right? The nature is so nice there. It could be I'm farming. But of course, I mean, looking at this kind of, what's that, technology evolution, maybe
Yeah.
I will use technology for my farm.
Ah.
Yeah, it's just like architect.
Yeah.
Using AI and so on and so forth.
That's really cool. Actually, one of the things that really enlightens me is that when I meet a lot of Indonesians or Southeast Asians, everyone's very entrepreneurial, right? Maybe not in the traditional sense of like I need to do a startup, but even coffee shops or fashion businesses, farms, palm oil, those kind of things. Very big, right?
Yes, it is. It is.
And the last question is, for what are you most appreciative for in life?
My appreciative, I think, is really families, right? Families is the one who will be supporting you, right? And of course, to have a good relationship with families as well, you need to be transparent. You need to be open. Of course, they also need to accept the difference, right? And definitely, the most things that I appreciate is families.
Well, thank you so much, and I can tell that you're a great dad. Also helping your kids learn AI at such an early age. So, very forward thinking. Very, I think you're preparing them very well for the future as well.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate all the wisdom and insights about AI, especially in Southeast Asia, from the Dentsu lens as well. So, yeah, I don't know if there's any other last words that you have for our viewers, but otherwise, I really appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, and tune in for the next episode.